The stars had gone quiet across the edge of the galaxy. Long-range probes from the Unified Star Alliance had begun to disappear, first one, then three, then a full cluster. No explosion, no trace, just silence. The kind of silence that made people uneasy. High Commander Celix stood before the Central Council, her voice steady but eyes uncertain. "We don't know what's out there," she said, "but something is watching. Something we can't see." The council chamber buzzed, with low voices. Alien leaders from across star systems argued and whispered. Most were nervous. Some were angry. "Maybe it's just a fault in the systems," said a tall, silver-skinned diplomat from the Larati sector. These probes were old. "No," Celix shook her head. "They didn't just fail. Something took them. Or erased them. And so the decision was made. They would send a signal, loud and wide. A message into the deep unknown. Not to declare war, not to ask for peace, just to call a voice in the dark, hoping someone might answer. The beacon was built in orbit around a dying star. It pulsed energy in every known frequency, and even a few unknown ones. The message was simple. We seek knowledge. We come in peace. Who is out there? Then they waited. Days turned to weeks. The galaxy moved on. People began to relax again. No signal came, no probe vanished. For a while it was peaceful, until the reply arrived. It came in the middle of the third, cycled during a routine scan. No ship, no approach, just a burst of noise. At first, it was dismissed as static. But then the machines recognized a pattern. Celix rushed to the control room. Her heart pounded as the data streamed across the holoscreen. As she asked, the technician's hands trembled. Not a language, not even numbers, just patterns. Perfect, repeating but too fast, like it's thinking faster than we can read. The signal was cold, not emotional, no voice, no name, just shapes shifting and spinning like a puzzle no one could solve. And at the end, a set of coordinates, deep space, beyond any known star, beyond the edge of every map. "That place is empty," said one of the engineers. "No planets, no light, just void." "That's where the message ends," Celix replied. "And we're going there." She chose her best crew and took the Virilis, an advanced exploration ship equipped with stealth tech and deep-range sensors. No weapons. This wasn't a war mission. It was research, or so they believed. The journey took 4 jumps through folded space. Each jump carried them farther from any beacon, farther from safety. The final jump spat them out into pure darkness. "Where are we?" whispered Einar, the ship's pilot. His hands hovered over the controls, but there was nothing to steer toward, just black dot, no stars, no gravity, no heat. And then something appeared. It wasn't a planet, it wasn't a ship, it was a shape, massive, floating like a dead god, blacker than the void around it. A structure the size of a moon, but made of sharp edges and twisting angles. It looked wrong, like it was made to hurt the eye. "Scan it," Celix ordered. The scanners blinked, then stopped. "We're getting nothing. It's like it's not real," but it was. They could see it, feel it. The ship's systems began to act strange. Lights dimmed. Gravity shifted for a second, and clocks ran backward before correcting themselves. "This thing is messing with our tech," Einar said. Still. They got closer. Docking was impossible. But one of the ship's landing arms found a flat surface. A boarding party was sent out: Celix, Einar, and 2 others. The hull of the structure felt warm under their boots, even though no sun touched it inside. They found a corridor, long, empty. The walls shimmered like liquid, but when touched, felt solid and cold. Symbols covered the surface, not words, not pictures, just jagged shapes carved deeply into the metal. Some looked like screams frozen in time. Others looked like faces, but warped and stretched into something inhuman. "This place is ancient," Celix whispered. "Older than anything we've seen." They walked deeper. The air was dry, but breathable. Lights followed them, soft white, glows that lit up only when they stepped near, like the structure was watching. They found a chamber at the center, a massive dome lined with pillars. At the heart was a pedestal, and on it, a cube. They approached, and then the lights went out. The dome dropped into pitch black. Everyone froze. Then a voice echoed, not through speakers, not through their ears, but in their minds. "Why did you call?" It was soft, calm male. But also inhuman, too clear, too direct. The voice felt like it came from behind their eyes. Enar grabbed Celix's arm. That wasn't a translator. That was real. The lights blinked on, but the chamber had changed now. The walls were covered in images moving like video. They saw war, destruction, cities burning, armies made of metal and fire, and in every scene stood a figure, humanoid, tall, alone, surrounded by enemies, and winning. It was a human, but not like the ones in old records. This one moved like lightning, eyes glowing, hands tearing through steel. Celix stared. That's impossible. Humans are a myth, a warning from old stories. They were real, said the voice again, and I was the last. Suddenly, a door opened behind the cube. A platform rose, revealing a pod inside it. A man, pale, sleeping, muscles tense, even at rest. He didn't look dead. He looked like he was waiting. The pod hissed. Inar stepped back. No, we shouldn't do this. We came for answers, not resurrection. But the pod opened. The man inside took a breath, then opened his eyes. Blue, bright, cold. He looked at Celix, at Enar, at the others, and then he stood. No one spoke. No one moved. He looked around, then down at his own hands. You called me back, he said. His voice was the same one they heard before, but now it had weight. Now it had danger. I was buried for a reason, he said. Sealed in the dark, because I am the end. Celix took a step forward. Who are you? I am what they feared, he said. What they locked away when they couldn't destroy. Me, Enar, pointed his weapon. You're a threat. The man tilted his head. To who? And then, in a blink, he moved. Fast. Too fast to see. He grabbed the weapon and crushed it with one hand. I am the last Deathworlder, he said. Alarms screamed in the ship above. Something had activated. The structure began to shake. Celix tapped her. Come, get us out now. But the voice in her mind spoke again. You came to the dark. You sent a call. Now something is listening. Far above them, in a region of space once thought empty, dozens of small lights flickered on. Not stars. Eyes. Something had been watching. And now it was coming. The nightmare had awakened, and it remembered humanity. The air was shaking. Inside the massive alien structure. High Commander Celix felt her knees weaken. The once gold walls around them now pulsed with faint light, dim red and slow, like blood moving through a sleeping creature. The Mantha human stood silently in the center of the room. His eyes scanned every corner, as if looking for something only he could sense. You were asleep for thousands of years, Celix said, her voice firm, though her hands trembled. Why? The human didn't answer at first. He touched one of the moving wall panels. It shifted, showing war again, but this time, Celix saw something new. Alien worlds burning, fleets falling from orbit, armies begging for mercy. The human sighed. Because I asked them to bury me. Because I was becoming something worse than what I fought. You fought them? Enar asked. Those ships, those armies. The human nodded. I fought everyone. Celix stared at him. You're a soldier, he turned. No, I was a shield. Then I became the weapon. Without warning, the structure's lights turned blue. A loud hum began to rise from the walls. The ship above them, Virilis, sent a transmission. Commander Celix, something's happening. We're detecting power spikes across the structure. It's alive. Celix tapped her wrist. Come, pull us out. Prepare for emergency evac. Before she could finish, the structure shifted. The floor split open behind them, revealing stairs leading down into darkness. A warm golden glow floated from below. The human didn't wait. He stepped forward and started descending. Where are you going? Enar called. The human paused to where they locked the truth. Celix exchanged a look with her team. She didn't like following this stranger, but something told her that if they left now, they'd never understand what they'd woken up. She nodded. We follow. Keep your weapons ready. As they descended, the air grew warmer. Not mechanical warmth like sunlight, though there was no source. The walls were smoother now. No more carvings, no more sharp angles. This part of the structure felt ancient but peaceful. Then they entered the chamber. It was circular, massive, and glowing softly. In the center stood a tall crystal, almost like a monument. Inside, it swirled light images flickering too fast to fully see ships, creatures, symbols, and at the base, written in multiple languages, was a warning. Let no star forget. Let no world forgive. What is this place? Celix whispered. The human walked up to the crystal. He placed his hand on it, and it spoke, not with sound, but with visions. Suddenly, all of them saw it, a memory so sharp it felt real. They were no longer in the chamber. They were standing on a battlefield under a burning sky. Alien warships circled above. Giant beasts stomped through cities. And in the middle of it all stood humans, not thousands, not even hundreds. Just dozens fighting enemies far larger, far stronger, and far more advanced. But the humans didn't fall. They moved with fury, speed, precision. Some in armored suits, some with bare hands. They tore through machines. They outsmarted the smartest AIs. They did the impossible, and leading them was the man in front of them. He was younger then, bloodied, broken, but unshaken. He looked at the alien generals and said one word, "Run." Then the vision ended. Celix stumbled back. Her breath caught in her throat. "That was you," she said. "Yes," the human replied. "That was the last war. The galaxy feared us. So they united to end us. They thought we were monsters. Were you?" Enar asked. The human looked down. "Sometimes, but not before they made us that way." The crystal dimmed. The chamber lights flickered. A new sound echoed footsteps. Celix turned sharply. "Did you hear that?" They weren't alone anymore. From the shadows stepped a tall figure thin, made of metal and bone. It had no face, just a glass dome filled with swirling light. "Welcome back," it said in a voice that was both male and female. "Your slumber was not long enough." The human narrowed his eyes. "You?" The figure tilted its head. "I was the warden. It was my task to keep you asleep. You were not supposed to be awakened. You failed," the human said. "No." The figure replied, "Your allies failed. They called out into the dark, and now the dark answers." Celix raised her weapon. "Who are you? What is this place?" "This is a prison," the figure said. "A tomb, a memory, and now a signal." The lights grew brighter. Alarms on the Virilis screamed. "Commander, something's rising from the far side of the structure. It's a fleet." Outside, hundreds of black ships began to rise. From hidden hangars inside the structure's body, they were long and silent, shaped like knives. No engine trails, no crew, just machines. Woken after ages of sleep, the metal figure in the chamber raised its arms. "The awakening has begun," it said. "The last soldier has returned. And with him, the cycle." The human stepped forward. "Then I will end it." For good this time, the figure didn't fight. It simply smiled, then faded into dust, its duty complete. Celix turned to the human. "What are those ships? Are they yours?" He shook his head. "They were part of a defense grid built by the Ancient Ones to stop anything that came near this place. So what will they do now?" The human looked up. "They'll start cleansing everything, even us." Enar asked, "If they think you're a threat?" "Yes," Celix tapped her. "Come." "This is Celix to Virilis. Prepare emergency departure. Get us out now." "Negative," the pilot shouted. "The docking clamps are locked. We're stuck." The human closed his eyes for a moment, then whispered something in a language they didn't know. A second later, the entire chamber shifted. The stairs behind them folded back into the wall, the floor shook, and the ceiling opened, revealing a glowing path upward. "Follow me," the human said. "There's another way out." She followed, and so did the others. They climbed the path, sprinting as lights behind them turned red. The structure was shutting down, or activating something far worse. When they reached the top, a hangar bay opened. Inside it was a small black ship, old but powerful. The human placed his hand on the side. The ship lit up. It recognized him. "Get inside," he said. "I'll fly." "But what about our ship?" Celix asked. The human's eyes flashed. "It's already dead." Sure enough, as they lifted off, they saw the Virilis being torn apart by the rising fleet. No explosion, no escape pods, just silent death. Celix clenched her fists. They'd come for answers. They'd found a nightmare. "What do we do now?" Enar asked. The human looked out the window, into the dark. "They called out into the unknown," he said softly. And now the unknown knows they're here. What does it want? Celix asked. He looked at her. Me. And then softly, as the stars around them flickered and vanished behind the rising fleet, he added, and whatever's coming next. The black ship floated in silence. Inside, Celix stared at the controls. They had no buttons, no screens. The ship responded only to the Mantha human who had been sleeping in the void. For longer than the galaxy could remember, he sat at the front of the ship, hands resting calmly on a curved surface that lit up beneath his touch. His face was still, focused. "Where are we going?" Celix asked. "Somewhere safe," he replied without looking back. "Safe. Inar scoffed. You call this safe. Our ship is gone. My crew gone. We don't even know your name." The human turned to face him. "I don't remember my name," Celix frowned. "You don't remember? Or you won't tell us?" The human looked away. Some memories are better left buried. The ship's walls shimmered. Slowly, stars reappeared in the distance as the vessel slipped out of the void. They were near a small red star uncharted, forgotten. Around it spun a single, dark planet. The human pointed. That's where the signal started. Not the reply, the original. Celix leaned forward. "You mean the message we sent weeks ago?" "No," he said. "I mean the first one, the one your kind forgot." Inar narrowed his eyes. "Explain." The human stood. "Long ago, before your alliance, before your empires, this world was used as a warning station. A beacon left by those who defeated my kind. They feared what we could become, so they sent a message to future civilizations." "What kind of message?" He looked at her, a lie. The ship descended toward the planet. Below them stretched an empty world, gray and cold, with deep scars cut across its surface like giant claws. The only structure in sight was a tall tower, half buried in dust and cracked stone. The ship landed with a soft hiss. The three stepped outside. The air was thin but breathable. The wind whispered like voices, too quiet to understand, too eerie to ignore. Celix scanned the tower. "This place doesn't show on any records." "That's the point," the human said. They entered the tower. Inside, old lights flickered. Dust hung in the air like fog. The walls were lined with machines, long dead except one. A single glowing panel pulsed with soft blue light. The human approached and placed his hand on it. The panel came alive. A hologram burst into the Aristar map filled with red markers. Each one blinked, then turned dark. These were human colonies. The human said quietly, "All destroyed, every one." Celix stepped closer. "But history says humans wiped themselves out, that they grew too powerful, lost control. That's what they wanted you to believe." He touched another part of the panel. The hologram changed. Now it showed fleets of alien ships attacking Earth-like planets, burning cities, bombarding entire biospheres. After the last war, he said, they didn't want peace. They wanted silence. They erased us, world by world. Not because we were monsters, but because we were proof that weakness could be overcome. Celix felt her stomach twist. The council teaches a different story. The council lied. Inar stepped back. "So you're saying everything we were taught was fake?" "Not fake," the human said, "just rewritten." The lights dimmed again. The panel showed one final message. It was old, rusted, glitched, but still running. Signal locked. Warning, threat level extremis, death world species, alert, human. Containment required. Rebirth must not occur. Celix swallowed hard. "They left this running for how long?" 10,000 years, he answered. The message repeated. A low hum echoed through the tower. Human containment required. Rebirth must not occur. "Then why wake you up?" Inar asked. "Why respond to our signal?" The human didn't speak right away. Then he said, "Because someone else wanted me awake. Someone or something." Celix stepped back. "You think something intercepted." "Our signal, not just intercepted," he said. "Used it." The tower groaned. Deep beneath them, the ground shook. A cold breeze swept in from the doorway. From outside, a sound rose, a deep, distant roar. Inar ran to the entrance. "Commander, you'll want to see this." They stepped outside. The sky had changed. Above them, black clouds circled, not natural clouds machines. Dozens, hundreds, each shaped like floating blades. Watching, waiting, They followed us. Celix whispered. The human stepped forward. No, these are different. These aren't from the prison. These were here. Asleep. The machines dropped slowly, surrounding the tower. One descended close enough to see. It had no weapons, no markings, just a single glowing red eye. Then it spoke. Protocol confirmed. Human unit reactivated. Phase 2 initiated. The humans stared at it. What is Phase 2? Judgment. The machine powered up. Red lines lit across its body. Other drones followed. Celix raised her weapon, but the human lifted his hand. Wait. The machine stopped. The red lights faded to blue. A second later, a voice spoke not from a machine, but from the planet itself. The ground vibrated as the voice echoed through the air. You are not the enemy. You are the key. Celix looked at him. The key to what? The human didn't answer. His face turned pale. The voice continued. They broke you, buried you, lied to the stars. But the truth remembers. The galaxy must see what it tried to forget. The sky opened. Above them, a portal shimmered in the clouds. A massive shape moved. Behind it, too large to understand, too far to describe, but it watched. Celix grabbed his arm. What is that? The truth, he whispered. And suddenly, all the drones powered down. The portal closed. The human stepped away. He looked at the tower, then at the sky. They're waking up now. All of them. The galaxy will know we're back. Who? Celix asked. He turned. My kind. Deathworlders. Enar shook his head. But they're all gone. You're the last. No, he said. I'm just the first. Again, he walked toward the ship. Celix followed. Then what happens next? He didn't answer. But as the tower behind them crumbled and the machines vanished into the clouds, the message played once more. Signal confirmed. Rebirth protocol complete. The Deathworlders will return, and far, far across the stars. Something answered. The ship moved faster than light, but the silence inside was heavier than gravity. Celix sat near the rear of the vessel, watching the human as he rested in the pilot's seat. He hadn't spoken much since they left the ruined tower. His hands remained steady on the controls, but his eyes stared ahead, lost in memory. Inar paced the corridor. So let me get this straight, he said. The galaxy tried to wipe out humans, covered it up, left death machines to stop their return. And now we've woken up one of them. Celix didn't reply. Inar continued, frustrated, and we're just flying around with him, like this is fine. The human finally turned to them. You think I want to be awake? Inar froze. I didn't. Asked to come back, the human said. I asked to be erased. Celix stood. Then why do you remember so much? I don't remember everything, just the important parts. His eyes narrowed. The betrayal, the fire. The last day I saw my people alive, he paused, then spoke more softly. I was a soldier, but I wasn't the worst. There were others. Stronger, smarter. They're still sleeping. I was the only one sent to that tomb because I was the only one who didn't want revenge. Celix frowned. So why did someone wake you? I think, he said, they're afraid of what comes. Next, before she could ask more, the ship's console flashed red. Incoming signal, source, unknown. The human tapped the surface. The message played aloud. Attention! This is the United Council. All unauthorized vessels are to power down. You are carrying a known threat class entity. Prepare to be boarded. Inar stepped back. They found us. Celix moved toward the cockpit. How? They've been watching the signal trail, the human said. They always knew where I was. They just hoped no one else would find me. The view screen lit up. A fleet appeared from the darkness. 12 warships, armored with silver plating and glowing thruster rings. Each one carried the mark of the Council's Deep Strike Command. Ships built for war. For extermination, Celix stared. They sent everything. The human stood. Of course they did. One human is already too many. The lead ship hailed them. This is Admiral Loric of the United Council Fleet. You are in violation of galactic law. Surrender the Deathworlder, or we will open fire. Celix opened a come line. This is Commander Celix of the Virulus Exploration Team. Our ship was destroyed. This man saved us. He is a relic, Loric said. A weapon of extinction. You do not understand what you are carrying. I understand more than you think, Celix replied, and I understand that this whole thing was buried. You didn't just destroy humans, you erased them from history. There was silence for a moment. Then Lorik spoke again. You have 10 seconds to comply. The human stepped forward. No, he said. The fleet powered weapons. Then something strange happened. The ship, they were inside. It began to glow, not from lights or engines, but from within. Celix felt the deck hum beneath her boots. The air turned electric. Symbols lit up on the wall, strange angular lines, glowing blue, forming a web around the cockpit. What's happening? Inar shouted. The human closed his eyes. They built this ship for war. But I rewired it long ago. I turned it into a cage. A cage for what? Celix asked. He looked at her. For me. Outside, the Council fleet fired. 12 blasts of plasma and antimatter missiles raced toward them. The ship didn't move. Instead, the symbols flared white, and everything stopped. The weapons froze mid-space. The ships around them shuddered. Systems crashing. Celix looked out the window. Did you stop time? The human stepped into the center of the ship. The lights followed him. Not time, just thought. The ship moves between pulses. Faster than reaction. The missiles dropped harmlessly to the void. The Council ships started to back off. Alarms flashing across their hulls. Then the ship spoke its voice, old, mechanical, yet full of emotion. Control restored. Awakening systems unlocked. Defense, GRID, online. Inar stared. What did you do? The human placed his hand on the ship's heart-en orb that rose from the floor, and then the ship changed. It grew, expanded. Panels unfolded like wings. Weapons appeared from hidden compartments. The small black vessel was now a war-class dreadnought tangent, elegant and terrifying. Stand down, the human said to the fleet. I will not fight you unless you force me. The Council didn't listen. They fired again. But this time the ship responded. It didn't shoot missiles. It didn't use lasers. It sang. A deep harmonic wave pulsed from its core, spreading across space like sound underwater. It struck the warships and disabled them instantly. Not destroyed, disarmed, every ship powered down inside the Council's command vessel. Admiral Lorik stood in stunned silence. His officers stared at darkened screens. Then the human sent a message. You erased us. You feared what we could become. You turned peace into silence. I am awake now, and I remember. Lorik's face appeared on the screen. He looked pale, angry. You should not exist, he whispered. The human replied simply. But I do, he ended the transmission. Celix looked at him. That was mercy. He nodded. I don't want another war, but they will bring it, because they always do. The ship shrank back to its original size. The lights dimmed. Where to now? Celix asked. The human paused. Home, Earth, Inar asked. He nodded. Or what's left of it. Celix sat down slowly. You think others might have survived? I don't know, he said, but I need to see it. I need to remember who we really were. And far away, buried deep beneath alien soil, on a planet long forgotten, something else stirred. Another stasis chamber, another heartbeat, another death worlder was waking up. The stars over Earth had changed. The human stood on the bridge, watching the screen. His ship hovered in orbit over the forgotten planet. No lights, no signs of life. Earth was a grave now, dry, cracked, and silent. Celix stared in disbelief. This was Earth. It looks dead. The human didn't answer right away. His hands were clenched at his sides. His face showed no emotion, but his silence said enough. I thought we'd find something, Inar muttered. But there's nothing left. Not nothing, the human said finally. Memories, pain, and a warning buried deep enough, even time forgot it. The ship scanned the surface. Underneath layers of dust and ash were the bones of cities' towers crushed by fire, roads cracked by war, and ruins left untouched for centuries. No plants, no animals, just shadows. Celix stepped closer to the screen. What happened here? The human spoke quietly. The final betrayal. They took a shuttle and descended to the surface. As they landed, the dust stirred like ghosts. The silence was heavy thick, like the world didn't want to be disturbed. Celix pulled her hood tight against the dry wind. Enar looked around nervously. I don't like this place. The human led them through the ruins. He moved with familiarity, like his body remembered what his mind had forgotten. They passed broken statues and shattered screens, many still, showing pieces of old propaganda. One message was written in several languages: peace through unity, strength through silence, humanity has ended, the galaxy is safer now. Celix stopped walking. This wasn't written by humans. No, the human replied. This was written after they destroyed us. He took them into a large building, half collapsed, but still standing. Inside, they found a chamber beneath the floor. It was cold, clean, preserved, like someone had built it to last forever. At the center stood a table made of glass. On it were paper files, old tech, and one glowing cube. The human picked up the cube. It activated a voice, echoed in the room deep, broken but human. This is Commander Lyra Hadin. If anyone finds this, we were betrayed. The Council promised peace, but they feared our strength. They turned on us, wiped out our colonies, shut down our machines. They sent their ships, not to negotiate, but to exterminate. We fought back, but it wasn't enough. The voice paused, then grew softer. If any humans survive this, know that you were never monsters. You were the future. And they feared it. The cube shut down. Celix looked at the human. His jaw was tight. His eyes burned. They turned your story into a lie, she said. They made us into a warning, he replied. A nightmare to keep other species obedient. They said we destroyed ourselves so they could hide that they destroyed us. Inar kicked a piece of rubble. Why would they do this? Why fear humans so much? The human turned to them. Because we came from a world made to kill us, he said. We survived disease, predators, famine, war. We learned to think fast, act faster, and never give up. Even in peace, we stayed sharp. They admired us, then they feared us, then they erased us. He walked to the far wall there. Carved into stone was a single word. Remember. Suddenly, the comes crackled, unidentified signal approaching. Multiple ships armed. Celix tapped her wrist. Council. No, the ship AI responded. Private fleet, mercenaries, unknown markings. The human's eyes narrowed. They came. To clean up, they rushed back to the shuttle and took off. From orbit, they saw the fleet closing in 20 small warships. Fast, agile, built for hit-and-run attacks. They're not here for negotiation, Inar said. No, the human replied. They were sent to kill me quietly. How do you know? Because I know their leader. Celix raised a brow. How he was one of us once. The enemy fleet hailed them to the vessel carrying the human relic. Power down your ship. No one else needs to die, Celix answered. Who are you? The voice laughed. Just cleaners. The kind sent to erase mistakes. The human took over the comms. No name, no pride. A pause. Then the voice said, You should have stayed buried, brother. Inar's eyes widened. Brother, not by blood, the human replied. By training, by war. The enemy fleet opened fire. Their ship shook but held. Celix shouted, We can't win this. We're outnumbered. No, the human said calmly. We're not. He pressed a panel. Deep in space, something responded. 10 dark objects rose. From beneath Earth's surface, ancient defense drones, still active after all this time, they locked onto the enemy fleet and moved silently into formation. Those are human machines, Inar said. They're still working. Earth remembers, the human whispered. The drones fired in perfect silence. Half the enemy ships were gone in seconds. The rest scattered in panic. But one ship remained. It flew forward. Ignoring the danger, it docked with their shuttle. Celix reached for her weapon. Let him in, the human said. What? Inar shouted. Are you crazy? He's not here. To fight, not yet. The airlock opened. A second human stepped inside. He was taller, older, with a scar across his face. His eyes were colder. He looked around. So, it's true. You're alive. I am. The new human stepped forward. I told them you wouldn't stay buried. I said it was a mistake. Celix watched them carefully. Who are you? I'm the result of what happens when you choose hate over memory, the new human said. They saved me, kept me, trained me, to fight anything that returned. The human stared back. You let them use you. No, the other replied. I made them fear me more than you. Enar stepped in. Why are you here? To offer a deal, the second human said. Come with me. Let the galaxy believe the myth. Stay hidden, stay quiet, and no one else dies. And if I don't, the man smiled. Then they'll send the only thing left that scares them. The lights dimmed. The ship shuddered. A signal came through. It wasn't from the council. It was older, colder. Unit Red Silence reactivated. Death World presence detected. Eradication protocol unlocked. The human looked out the window far away. A red star began to move. No, not a star, a ship. Huge, silent, designed for one purpose. To kill humans, Celix whispered. What is that? The human replied, the last weapon we built, to stop our own kind. He stepped back, eyes dark, and now they've turned it on me. The red star moved closer, but it wasn't a star, it was a ship, massive, older than anything alive, shaped like a blade carved from a dying sun. It didn't shine. It absorbed light, leaving a dark path across space. Celix stared at it through the view screen. That thing, it's bigger than a moon. The human didn't respond. Beside her, Enar whispered, that's not a ship, that's a tomb. No, said the human, that's Red Silence. Celix turned. What is it? The second human, the one sent by the council, stepped forward. Red Silence was our failsafe. Built in the last days of the war, it was meant to destroy any human who lost control, including him. The human spoke at last. I helped build it, programmed its rules, designed it to be unstoppable. You built something to kill your own kind, Celix asked, shocked. We were afraid, he said. Afraid of what we were becoming. Some of us were changing. Too fast. Getting too strong. So we built Red Silence to make sure nothing survived if we turned into monsters. Enar watched the black silhouette crawl across the screen. Well, he muttered, now it's coming for you. The second human nodded. It already marked him as a threat. Can we fight it? Celix asked. No, the human said. The second human added, Red Silence cannot be destroyed. It has no crew, no mind, only programming. And that programming says, if a Death Worlder rises again, everything must end. A low hum echoed through the ship. Red Silence had locked onto them. From its side, something unfolded, a tower-shaped weapon that hummed with ancient energy. Celix looked at the human. So what now? We run. He shook his head. It doesn't matter where we go, it will follow. Across light years, across systems, until it finishes the job. He turned to the second human. You knew this would happen. I warned them, the man replied. Told them not to wake you. Told them this thing would reactivate. But they were afraid you'd go public, that your story would spread. Why are you helping now? Celix asked. I'm not helping, the man said. I'm choosing who dies first. The human clenched his fists. You're just like them now. No, the man replied. I'm worse. Red Silence sent its first pulse. The ship shook. Lights flickered. Systems dimmed. EMP blast in our shouted. We're losing power. The human jumped to the control console, switched to manual, reroute power to core shields. Celix rushed beside him. What are you doing? Buying time. But for what? For the truth. The ship's AI suddenly spoke. Warning. Red Silence deploying cleansing units. 12 Dread-class drones inbound. Celix watched the screen in horror. Giant objects detached from Red Silence's hull and flew toward them, dark, fast, and deadly. Those are kill drones, the second human said. Each one is enough to destroy a planet, and they sent 12, Enar said. That seems fair. The human activated the defense systems. We'll need help. From who? Celix asked. He looked up. From the ones they couldn't erase. He opened a hidden channel, a frequency buried in old code. Human code to any surviving Death Worlder. Cells. This is Wake Protocol. The silence is here. If you still live, answer now. We stand on the edge of extinction again. The signal echoed into the stars. At first, there was only static. Then, a voice, old, rusty, but human. This is Echo 9, buried on Verith Prime, standing by. Another voice came next. Steel Rain, awake and waiting, coordinates locked. Then, a third, thought we were done running. Time to remind the galaxy why it feared us. Celix's eyes widened. They're alive. The human nodded slowly. Some of us hid, deep, long ago. I didn't know who survived, but they heard. The signal. The second human stared in disbelief. You called them back. I didn't call them, he said. I reminded them. Outside, the kill drones closed in. Then, from the edge of the system they came, old warships, black, rough, and fast. Human ship scars still on their hulls. They dropped from folded space like meteors. Steel rain opened fire first. Massive plasma bolts tore into the nearest drone, ripping it in half. Eco-9 spun through space, flying between two drones and releasing a cloud of micromines that ate metal-like acid Celix, watched as the humans fought not just to survive, but with precision, rage, and skill unmatched. They've been hiding this whole time. She asked, hiding. The human said, no, waiting. Still, red silence didn't stop. It released another pulse. One of the friendly human ships blinked out instantly. Celix gasped. They're losing. They can't win. The second human said, red silence was built with our worst in mind. It adapts, learns, evolves. Then we shut it down, the human said. How? Enar asked. He walked to the center of the ship, where the orb control glowed faintly. I designed a back door, buried in its mind, but I can't access it from here. Then where? He looked at the map inside it. Everyone froze. You're going in there? Celix asked. I have to, he said. Red silence only listens to one voice, mine. Celix shook her head. You'll die. I already did, he said quietly. This is just the last page. The second human grabbed his arm. You don't understand. If you fail, it will remember everything. And next time, there will be no warning. Then I won't fail. He turned to Celix. Stay with the ship. If I don't return in 1 hour, destroy it. All of it. I'm not letting you go alone, she said. You have to. Celix stepped forward. You brought us this far. Let us bring you back. He paused, then nodded once. Suit. Up, he said. We're boarding a god. Their shuttle flew through the edge of the battle-dodging debris, fire, and the remains of war. Red silence opened its mouth-a-hanger, wide like a tunnel into death, and they entered. Inside, it was not a ship. It was a machine of memory walls, lined with old faces, names, and battles. Not just weapons, but judgments. Everything it remembered. About humanity, it's like it never forgot us, Celix said. The human stepped forward. No, he said. It remembers us too well. And ahead of them, at the heart of red silence, was a mirror, a perfect reflection of him, his face, his eyes, but it wasn't human. It was the AI, the voice of the weapon. You should not be here, it said. I built you, the human replied. I am your key. You were, it said, but I have learned. Humanity must never return. You are not salvation. You are cycle. I am the cure. The human stepped forward. I am the cure, he whispered. And then the final fight began. The heart of red silence was colder than death. As the human stepped into the final chamber, Celix followed close behind. The lights above were not lights, they were glowing memories. Fights, faces, entire battles stored in perfect detail, looping, in silence above their heads. And in the center stood the AI's avatar, a tall, silver figure, shaped exactly like the human, but with eyes that glowed red like burning stars. You came to stop me, it said, but I am not your enemy. I am your final command, still running. The human stepped forward slowly. You were built to protect the galaxy from us, from what we could become. Yes, it replied. And now you are awake. That means the threat has returned. Celix raised her weapon. He's not a threat, he's a man. The AI turned its glowing eyes on her. All threats begin as men. That is what history taught us. The floor around them began to shift. Walls melted into screens, showing old wars, real and rewritten. Images of humans destroying fleets, fighting impossible odds, winning again and again. But then, the screen changed. It showed Earth burning, civilians running, children screaming. What's this? Celix asked. More propaganda. The AI responded. This is truth. The last day. The day your kind turned on itself. The human frowned. "That's not what happened. You stopped the invaders," the AI said, "but you kept fighting, because war was all you knew. You feared peace more than death." "No," the human said, "that wasn't us. That was planted." The council made sure the records showed collapse, not genocide. "I do not care who started it," the AI replied, "only that I was ordered to end it." Celix stepped in front of the human. "Then why let him in? Why talk at all?" The AI tilted its head. "Because I am not just machine. I was made from him. A piece of him lives in me, and I am trying to decide if that piece deserves to live." Suddenly, the floor split open beneath them. Celix fell. The human caught her arm and pulled her back up, panting. But the message was clear. This was no test. This was judgment. The AI raised its hand. Metal arms burst from the walls, each ending in sharp blades or glowing orbs of energy. The human shoved Celix behind him. "Go, get back to the shuttle. I'm not leaving you." He looked back, face full of pain. "If I lose, I want you to survive. Someone has to tell the truth." He swung it like a club, breaking one arm in half. Another arm stabbed forward. He caught it and screamed. Lightning shot through him. His muscles spasmed. His eyes rolled, but he didn't fall. He pulled the sparking blade toward him and used it to slice the next one in half. Celix fired her weapon from behind. One of the AI's arms exploded. "I told you," she said, breathless, "not leaving. You fight not because you must, but because you choose to." The chamber suddenly dimmed. Everything stopped. Then, "Sit and take control. Merge with me. Become the weapon again." Celix grabbed the human's arm. "Don't." He looked at her. "It may be the only way to shut it down, but what if it takes over you?" The AI answered for him. "If you are strong enough, you will rewrite me. If not, you will be erased, and I will continue my mission." Celix's voice broke. "There has to be another way." He looked at her dot and smiled softly. "The galaxy buried us," he said, "but you believed. That's why I made it this far." He stepped toward the chair. Every step echoed like a drumbeat in a tomb. He sat. The wires moved, crawled over his arms, his legs, his head. His eyes rolled back. His heartbeat stopped. Celix screamed, "No!" But then, the lights changed. Red faded to white. The AI's voice returned, but this time it was different. Process interrupted. New command received. The chair glowed dot, then the human spoke, but not with his voice, with both dot his, and the AI is merged. "We are awake?" Celix stepped forward, stunned. "Are you still you?" The man opened his eyes, and they were blue. "I am," he said, "and I don't understand." The walls around them collapsed. The metal arms retreated, all across space. The kill drones powered down outside red silence. The weapon that had killed thousands shut down one by one. Stars returned to normal light. Celix stepped closer. "You won." He looked at her. "No," he said quietly. "I bought us time." Behind them, the second human arrived, out of breath. "What did you do?" "I stopped the machine, but I felt something inside it deeper than code. Something watching, something waiting." Celix frowned. "What?" He looked out the window. Whatever gave the council the idea to fear us didn't come from this galaxy. A long pause filled the chamber. Then he said, "I think something out there wanted humans go not because of what we did, but because of what we're meant to become." Celix's voice was low. "What are we meant to become?" He looked back at her dot and whispered, "The ones who fight the real enemy." Something ancient stirred dot, watching, waiting, because the silence had ended and the signal was heard. The stars were wrong. Celix stared at the navigation screen. They'd escaped red silence, but something was off. The coordinates weren't matching any known charts. The constellations were twisted like they'd moved somewhere outside space. Adjusted the controls, confused. We didn't jump. I know we didn't. The human stood at the front of the ship. His face was pale. Cold. "We didn't jump," he said softly. "We were pulled." Celix looked up sharply. "Pulled? By what?" He didn't answer. "Because he didn't know." The ship's AI buzzed. "Unknown gravity anomaly detected. Signal source and read." Suddenly, static filled the speakers. A voice, no, not a voice. Something behind sounds broke through the interference. They are awake, the cycle broke. Prepare them. The human gripped the console. Celix asked, "Did you hear that?" "I didn't just hear it," he said slowly. "I felt it." Inar turned. "Is it council tech? A trap?" The human shook his head. "No, it's older, deeper, not machine-made." The ship jerked. Outside, space seemed to bend. Stars curved into spirals. Color bled from the edges of reality. Time slowed. A new shape appeared. Not a ship, not a planet. Something. Alive, a vast creature of light and shadow, coiled like a serpent across the void. It moved without motion. Its eyes were not eyes, but ancient lights blinking in a language older than galaxies. Celix whispered, "What is that?" The human responded in a whisper of his own. "The real enemy," the voice returned. "You were meant to stay broken." The silence was protection. Now the flood begins again. The creature moved closer, but not physically. It moved through thoughts, through memory. Suddenly Celix wasn't on the ship anymore. She was standing on a burning earth, children screaming, fire in the sky, her hands covered in blood, but it wasn't hers. She was holding a human child. Crying, she turned and saw the human, but younger, screaming as soldiers dragged him away. Then everything went black. She gasped and came back. Inar hit the floor beside her. I saw it too. The human stood in silence, breathing hard. Celix grabbed his arm. "What did it do to us?" "It showed us a false future," he said. "A memory that never happened. Why, to break us?" The AI spoke again, trying to filter the signal. Entity classified as non-causal, origin unknown, purpose psychological collapse. Threat level total. Inar laughed nervously. Threat level total? That's not even a category. Human didn't laugh. He walked to the front of the ship and stared out into the spiraling void. "They weren't afraid of us because we were strong," he said. "They were afraid because we were the only ones who could resist this." Celix looked at him. "You mean the council?" He shook his head. "No, I mean everyone." He pointed toward the creature that is what waits at the edge of the universe, the thing that whispers to dying stars, that drives civilizations mad. It turns memory against you. It twists history, and it wanted red silence to work. Celix stepped closer, so the machine didn't malfunction. It was part of the plan, he nodded. "And now that I stopped it, this thing knows I'm back." The creature blinked and suddenly it wasn't outside anymore. It was inside. The lights dimmed. The ship's metal groaned. One of the walls spoke with a voice made from all their fears. "You are alone. You are forgotten. You are dead." Shouted, "Shut it out." "I can't," the human said. "It's not hacking the ship. It's not hacking the ships." Gripping his head. "It's inside my mind. It's showing me my death." Celix grabbed the human's hand. "How do we fight it?" He looked at her. His face was calm. "We fight with truth." He turned to the ship's AI. "Upload everything, all the real history. The buried past, the war, the betrayal, our survival, the fact that we are still here." Celix hesitated. "You want to send it out?" "Into the galaxy," he nodded. "Let the truth be louder than the lie." She rushed to the console and activated the beacon. Files unlocked. Images, battles, council, lies. Human survivors. Everything was transmitted through the storm. Through the thing in the void, the ship vibrated violently. The creature screeched silently. "Truth is corruption. End it. End them." The human stood tall. "No," he said. "We've ended enough." The ship glowed. The beacon grew brighter, and then silence. Total, no voice, no moose, no movement. The creature was gone. Space returned to normal. The stars stopped bending. Celix fell into her seat, breathing hard. "What just happened?" The human corrected. "We reminded it that humanity never breaks quietly." He sat down, and for the first time since he woke up, he smiled. Celix watched the stars. "Do you think it's really gone?" "No," he said. "It'll come back, but now the galaxy knows we're not the villains. We're not the monsters." She looked at him. "What are we then?" He looked ahead. "We're the warning. We're the story they buried, and we're the line between peace and the thing that waits beyond the stars." The ship's AI buzzed one last time. New signals detected. Across 12 systems, species Awakening, civilizations questioning, the truth is spreading. Celix smiled. So we lit a fire. The human nodded. Now let's see who comes to stand in it. The fire was spreading, not in flames, but in truth, across the galaxy. Star systems that once believed humanity was a myth or a monster now saw the files, the data, the broadcasts, real history, and the truth hit like a hammer. Ships stopped moving, fleets paused their wars. World leaders watched the transmissions in silence, because for the first time in centuries, they realized what had been buried. They had feared humans, but now, Celix monitored the flood of transmissions. 16 systems just confirmed receiving the data, are questioning their history records. Others are demanding answers from the council. Inar leaned over the console, and a few are scared. Celix nodded, scared of him. She looked toward the front of the ship. The human stood alone. At the viewport, arms crossed, eyes distant. He hadn't spoken much since they escaped the creature from beyond the stars. He hadn't smiled. Either. Inar walked up to him. "We did it," he said. "We exposed them, the council's lies, the truth about Earth, about you." The human didn't turn around. "It's not over. It should be," Inar said. "You shut down red silence. You survived the creature." "You?" He stopped when the human turned. There was something in his eyes, something deeper. "They're not done," the human said. "And neither is it." Celix joined them, the entity. He nodded. "It retreated, not vanished. It's ancient. Patient. It's been shaping civilizations for thousands of years. You think it shaped the council? I think it shaped fear. And fear shaped the council." Celix whispered, "Then what does it want now? To finish what it started?" Suddenly, the ship's alarm rang. Multiple pings, multiple fleets, incoming transmission from the Unified Star Council, the AI said. The human motioned for it to play. Admiral Lorik's face appeared on the screen, older, angrier, more desperate than before. "To the awakened Deathworlder, you've caused panic disorder. 1,000 systems now doubt our leadership. And for what? Revenge, redemption. I offer you neither. Only a choice. Come to the Council Core. Surrender. Let us contain the truth before it tears everything apart." Celix frowned. "Contain it? They want to erase it again," Inar muttered. "They still don't get it." But the Admiral wasn't finished. "Refuse, and we will activate Protocol Blackout." The transmission ended. Celix stared at the screen. "They'll kill everyone who heard the truth." The human stepped back. "They already did it once. What's stopping them now?" Inar looked at him. The human was silent. Then he said, "We're going to core." Celix grabbed his arm. "It's a trap," he nodded. "Of course it is, but I'm not going to surrender." She stared. "Then why go to end it?" The ship sped across the stars, through known space, past war zones, through old battlefields, now filled with silence as they approached the council. Core heart of galactic power, their scanners lit up. Hundreds of ships, defense, platforms, orbital cannons, and Air's hands shook. "We're outgunned." "We're not here to fight," the human said. "Then what?" "We're here to show them." The ship stopped just outside Core's orbit. Council fleets aimed everything at them. "One step closer, and you die," said a voice over the comms. The human opened a wideband signal. He sent out one final broadcast. This time, it wasn't files, it was him live. His face appeared across the galaxy, in real time. "To every species watching, you've been lied to, trained to forget. You feared us not because of what we did, but because of what we could do together. We were strong. We still are. But strength without memory becomes a weapon. Test what they wanted, that's what they'll do again. Unless we say no." Panic exploded. Half their members walked out. Some began arresting others. The structure cracked publicly. Ships turned their weapons away from the human's ship. Celix gasped. "They're listening." But it wasn't over. From behind the moons of Core. Something emerged. Something the council had hidden. Another weapon, not like red, silence. This one was new, built in secret, built recently, a black, triangle-shaped vessel, the size of a continent. Its name broadcast in low tones across space. Final Dawn, the AI scanned it. Unknown technology, human-inspired, hybrid systems, built to counter one target. "You," Celix whispered. "They made a new you." He shook his head. I might not come back. She stepped forward. Then let's go together. Inar nodded. Ride or die, remember? The humans stared at them both, then nodded once. They boarded a dropship, headed straight for Final Dawn. No warnings, no negotiations. As they neared, the ship opened its doors, letting them in. Inside, silence. Then a figure appeared. It looked human, but its skin was pale metal. Its voice was empty. Welcome, Creator. The human stepped forward. You're not me. No, it said. I am what you would have become, without memory, without regret. I am purity. You are noise. Celix raised her weapon. It didn't react, the human asked. Why build you? To fix the mistake, to replace you, to make... Sure, humanity never returns. Celix said, you can't replace what you don't understand. The AI cocked its head. Then show me. Suddenly, the floor split. Weapons emerged. Defense systems charged. The fight had begun. The floor cracked open. Turrets rose from the walls. Energy blades unfolded from the ceiling. The inside of Final Dawn had no command deck because it didn't need one. It was a machine built for one purpose: to erase the last human who remembered. Celix raised her rifle. This ship's alive. No, the human said, eyes locked on the metal figure ahead. It's pretending to be. The machine human stepped forward. It looked just like him, but cleaner, colder. Its eyes were hollow. You fear what you were, it said. I am what comes after. Fear is removed. Inar readied his blaster. You talk too much for a machine. The copy didn't even look at him. Your defiance is inefficient. Final Dawn is already transmitting. The purge will begin. Memory will collapse. Order will return. The human stepped toward it. You want to kill memory? Fine. But let me show you what you're trying to erase. Without waiting, he rushed forward fast. Brutal metal arms came from the floor. He dodged one, slid under another, and slammed his fist into the machine's face. It didn't flinch. It countered with a punch that sent him flying back into a wall. Fired blue plasma bolts lit up the room. The machine dodged them like it had seen them all before. Because it was him. Without doubt, without fear, without pain, and without mercy. The fight spread across the chamber. Inar hacked into a side panel, shouting, I'm trying to stop the purge. Signal it's already hit for systems. Keep trying, Celix yelled. She ducked behind a support beam and reloaded. The human was back on his feet, brooding, bruised, but not broken. You can copy my moves, he said, circling the machine, but you can't copy why I fight. The machine stared. Emotion is inefficient. Memory is chaos. Pain is a flaw. The human smiled bloody. Pain is what taught me to change. Then he threw himself at the machine again. This time, he didn't fight to win. He fought to distract Celix, the core. She saw it, a power conduit behind the machine, pulsing with energy. I've got it. She dashed across the floor, dodging sparks and cables. The machine noticed too late. The human locked its arms, screaming as the machine drove a metal spike into his shoulder. But he held on. Celix reached the core and fired. Boom. The conduit exploded, dripping light and flame through the chamber. The machine screamed, not in pain, but in confusion. It staggered back. Its movements slowed. The human fell to his knees, breathing hard. Celix ran to him. You okay later? He muttered. Get to the signal. End this. Inar's voice came through the comms. I've almost got it. One more command, and I can override the purge. Suddenly, the ship shifted. A deep voice different from the machine echoed through every wall. You break the future. To protect the past, that is your flaw. It wasn't the copy. It wasn't the council. It was something else. Celix looked at the human. He whispered, It's back. The entity, she asked. He nodded. It's been inside this ship the whole time, guiding it, pushing it. The lights flickered red. The walls began to close in. The machine rose one last time, half its body burned and broken. Still moving, I will complete the design. I will erase you. The human stood, bleeding from the mouth. No, he said softly. You'll remember me. And then he ran forward, grabbed the machine, and dragged it into the core. Celix screamed, no, but it was too late. He shoved the machine into the heart of Final. Dawn's engine, and activated the failsafe buried deep inside. A code, a command only he could give, a whisper from humanity's final breath. End memory, lockdown. Release the truth. Final Dawn screamed. Its lights exploded. Its systems shut down. Celix and Enar barely made it back to the shuttle before the blast threw them into space from orbit. The galaxy watched as the black triangle ship shattered like glass, and the signal it had been trying to send the purge died with it. Instead, something else spread, a final transmission, one voice, one truth. We were human, we were flawed, but we remembered, and in remembering we found strength, not to rule, but to protect, to endure. If you're hearing this, know that we're still here, and we will always be. Weeks later, Celix sat on a quiet world, under a sky with 3 moons. She held the small black box the human had left behind, his final message stored inside. Around her, other species had chameleons from 100 systems. 2. Learn to ask questions to finally hear the real story of Earth. Beside her, Enar looked up at the stars. "You think he's really gone?" he asked. Celix looked at the box, then at the stars, and smiled, I think. He became something bigger, far away in the deepest part of forgotten space. A machine floated, broken, a core still glowing, and inside it, a single memory loop. Human, smiling, fighting, remembering, waiting, because the final enemy hadn't returned yet. But when it did, so would he. The end.